Welcome to the Temple of Speed and welcome to the Ringfreaks GT3 Premium Series as we head into the midpoint of the season. It's round 3 of 6 and we're at Monza. And the Temple of Speed, it's going to be all about keeping your speed up all the way around the track. Slipstream will play a huge part, so expect much tighter racing at the top. As we have a look at the championship standings, it's Grantas Karatskas at the top of the field. It's 2 wins out of 2 races ahead of Yetzi, Speff, and Mendeles, your top 4 in the Pro Plus class. As we head to the Pro Ams, it's Bauman with 2 wins, and then Jibgashvili, Tomala, and Vershitskas round out the top 4. And in Am, it's a much closer affair. Azikev on 35, 33 for Seranis and Bolson on 26, 25 for Rybatsky and Palulis on 20, so a very close fight at the top of the Am standings there. But the championship is still hot and anybody can take it. With 3.5 minutes to go in this qualifying session, it's Kobosnidze at the top by a 10th ahead of Mendeles, who's 0.04 of a second ahead of Jibgashvili. Speff in 4th and only 5th place for the championship leader Grantas Karatskas, and it's a Pro-Am car at the top of the standings for the moment. Karatskas going purple in the middle sector, purple in the first sector from Kobosnidze, as I'm joined, as always, by Lodins.
Good evening, everyone, and hello, Gustas. Hope you're doing well. It has been 2 weeks since we've raced at the Zandvoort circuit, and now we are in Italy at Monza, where Grantas Karatskas currently sitting 5th, doing a very fast second sector and crosses the line, and he lacks a couple of hundredths of a second just to see Nika Kobosnidze perform even better, putting a very fast lap here at towards the end of the qualifying session. 2.5 minutes to go. Both of the leaders are currently in the pit lane. Pretty tight at the front, and as we have 4 drivers within the 1 minute 46 and 5/10 zone, so it's gonna be a hot race. Hopefully we will not have a usual Monza first corner situation after the after the lights will go out in the 3rd round. I want to witness a very fabulous race here with the standings being so tight at the front. 1 hour of pure racing with 1 mandatory pit stop, so strategy in play as usual. Sometimes we have different strategies from the drivers offered on the table, and having different outcomes as what we see at the beginning of the races. At this track, I think it's a bit lighter on the tires, meaning that we might have those different strategies where some of the drivers might go all in, then go into the pit lane to change the tires and will get back on the track with all in. And we might have drivers who will go for the safer strategy. And that's Matas Mendeles. He made a mistake. He will not go faster here on this occasion, going slower at both of the sectors. He will still have a bit of time to put in a lap time if he has fuel and tires left on the race car.
Well, the strategy, I think it's a big point of when do you want to be quick in the race, or if you need to be quick in the race. If you're starting up front, you can maybe think about affording a strategy where you maybe lose just a little bit more time, but maybe you have that opportunity to hold on at the front and not take tires. If you're very far back in the field and that's where you expect it to be, then maybe that's a good option as well. But if you want to make positions and make positions fast, you've got to go for that low fuel new tire strategy. That has been a decent solution, because sometimes you might just drop back too much with running that older set of tires where you're not even able to improve your position after that pit stop. as the session ticks down to the end. Well, 3/10 at the top. Koblos needs a huge margin for him, as Grantas Karetskas not able to improve in Sector 1 and much worse in Sector 1. I'm sure he's going to abort this lap at some point. He's still going though, so maybe our timing screens aren't showing the full truth.
I think it's showing the full truth, because if you look at his dashboard, he's already 1 second off his fastest lap time, so maybe this is just gonna be a lap to settle down and get ready for the race.
Maybe he's got race fuel on board the car. Ahead of him, by the way, is Kobosnidze, ahead of whom is Mendelis out on track. They are not in that order for the starting grid, and I don't really see anybody else finding much time here. It, well, I guess depends on Mendelis if he can do something up in front there. He's only got about 0.04 of a second to gain on Karetskas to go up a position. Can he do it once he... Nope. Into the pit. So practicing the pit entry, as that is going to be session over unless Badlavicius can do something. Well, he only needs 0.02 of a second to go equal with Tomola, but that wouldn't even be for position, as into the pits he goes as well. Here's Gurney coming out the final turn. He's going to take to the line, and let's see if he can find any improvement there.
Yep, I think he did find some improvement. I think he went into the 1 minute 47 second zone, up to P18. I think he was a bit lower. Anyways, I think we can go through the results of the qualifying session. If you cannot read the names quite well, Gustas will read them out for you, and if you have a computer by your hand, you can go to the World Sim Series website, find the event, and all the live timings are there on the spot.
Kobosnidze at the top, and pole position overall and pole position in the Pro-Am class, and a dominant one at that as well, ahead of Grantas Karetskas. He's got a 30 kilo BOP on his car. Mendelis with 5. Right behind him in third. Karetskas at the top of the Pro class. In terms of the Pro-Ams, then comes Jubgashvili and Javakshvili in P5 overall, and first in the Ams, then comes Spef, third place Pro car. Then comes Tomola, he's in third in the Pro-Ams, Badavicius second in the Ams, and looking down the rest of the grid, 12th overall and third in the Ams is Serelis. A bit further back in the field, he'll have to fight his way through if he wants to get forward, as we're just 20 seconds from the green flag here at Monza. It's round 3 of the championship, the midpoint of the season, and we have a new face at the top of the leaderboard, as an on pole position, as we get ready to go. And round 3 of the Ringfreaks GT3 Premium Series is away. A little bit of a slow start from some of the guys behind, having to fan out, and they're going to go in 3, 4, 5 wide, even down into turn 1. Karetskas goes a little bit defensive, but he's got a car down his inside. That's the Ferrari of Jubgashvili. I believe somebody off into the grass coming into the turn. Everybody cutting the first chicane, as well as Ikev into a spin. And Jubgashvili couldn't get past Karetskas, but he did get past Mendelis. So now it's Pro-Am, Pro, Pro-Am, Pro, and then Am in P5, just where he started. He's trying to defend from Tomola, who goes round his outside, and he actually cuts the corner into the first chicane, well, the second chicane, really, as that was Tomola, and he drops down the field, had to give that time back. And where are we now in the standings? So, Kobosnidze, Karetskas, Mendelis, Jubgashvili, Spef, Javakshvili in P6. Interesting first few corners, but maybe even more clean than we expected. Here's Vershitskas in P10. He's under pressure from behind, but don't think he's going to be overtaken. Nope. And keeps his 10th spot as they go through the lap and into Parabolica for the first time in this race. First of many, as Kobos needs it already almost a second up in front. Jibgashvili gets past Mendelis, so I'm going to guess Mendelis on a high fuel load, running slow. Jibgashvili on a low fuel load, running fast. And here's Javakshvili still under pressure. I think he's battling with Spef and Tomola now, free wide down into the first chicane, the biggest braking zone around the track and the most difficult one as well. Bumpy on entry, and I think Javakshvili is just about going to hold on, but no, to the outside goes Tomola, but jumps over the curb and actually hinders the exit for Javakshvili, so Tomola gets up in front, but I'm not sure the stewards will look too kindly on that move.
Plenty of action in the first laps of the third round at Monza circuit. Pretty decent start for this race, so drivers are definitely prepared. We did have a bit of a contact here and there throughout the grid, but most of the participants are continuing this battle, and we have a lot of cars that are running very tight, very close to each other. Battles happening all around the racetrack as Asp tries to defend from Shirelis and Nikanen. Oh, and there's someone into the wall.
Balevicius, and it looks like he touched that piece of gravel on the exit there of the second Lesmo. It's an easy thing to do, and the consequences are quite big. He's going to get overtaken by another car and down all the way to P18. He was running 10th or 11th?
No, he was in the top 10s. Definitely Asp was 11th, so Balevicius was further ahead, so he lost plenty of space as he's now down in P18. Mercedes in front, running slow.
Oh, big move. Big move to the inside because he saw those cars going slow. A little bit of contact on exit, but up 2 spots, and maybe he didn't even expect that to the pits. I'm guessing to serve some kind of a penalty. Here comes Bonavicius for P15. He should be getting through these guys quite quickly. He was much further ahead in the field, but no real damage to report on him. Even after that massive whack that he had into the barrier. Fastest lap of the race by Grantas Kranskas, 47.1. It's about 2/10 quicker, and he's catching up to Kobosnidze and catching up quick.
Yeah, but he has 4 seconds advantage against Chibgashvili and even more advantage against Mendelis. Mendelis is second-placed Pro Plus driver. Karetskas is actually leading his class, so he has nothing to worry about. Just try to overtake Kobosnidze for the overall win. This was the first qualifying session for Karetskas where he did not get the pole. I think he would like to win this race, even though it wouldn't matter at this point. If both of the cars finish the way they are running at this point, he would still win his class, get the most points. Not sure how the penalty would be calculated. The ballast, I think he would still get those 15 kilograms, and that would be the maximum that is allowed throughout this season. And I think he'll set another fastest lap time, and he is gaining on Kobosnidze, so maybe the setups are different on these cars. Kobosnidze was very fast in the qualifying session. He's now 2/10 down on Karetskas, and as he's being chased down by one of the fastest drivers on the platform. That's gonna be a tough job for Kobosnidze to hold off the attacks of Karetskas. I'm not sure if he needs to do anything about it, be over defensive. He has almost 5 seconds advantage against Jibgashvili, so he's built out for himself a pretty safe gap in these opening laps. So he just needs to be smart here, think about the tires. I'm not sure what strategy he's on. But yeah,
I'm going to guess they should be on a pretty similar strategy up there in front, because if you look at a card that we assume is on a different strategy, in Mendeles, he's lost tons of time. Yeah, Koposnice doesn't really need to do anything once he's put under pressure here. He can just let Karatskas go through if he feels a lot of pressure
Ooh.
from behind. Big corner cut, but
Wow.
I've seen quite a few cars do that, so maybe that's okay.
I think that's how the track limits work in Assetto Corsa. If you don't receive a warning, and if well the virtual track allows that, definitely the drivers will go for it. That's Speth against Javakishvili, and it amazes me how much faster Javakishvili looks here at this circuit, as the two race leaders exchange fastest lap times. And this time Karetskas was again a little bit faster as we go side by side down the main straight. That's Javakishvili against Speth.
Again, not a battle for position, and Speth recognizes that. He's running in third in the Pro Plus class. He's got Asp, his closest rival, who just got past Jofert. So really in a good spot there. Doesn't need to fight Javakishvili, who, well, if you look at the M's, I'm not sure where the closest M is. That would be 11 and quite a ways back. So no real threat for Javakishvili, as he can just continue on with his pace at the top of the AM class.
Yep, and this is a battle for P2 in the M class. Sherelis against Rybatsky. Lexus versus BMW. Quite close on the tail of Rybatsky is Sherelis, and he's quite faster here. On the previous lap, he was 1 full second faster than the car ahead. So I think a nice battle is building up for the second spot on the podium in the M class, as some of the drivers don't allow themselves to cut as much of that corner as the others do. Some curbs.
Yep, really abusing the track limits there, and I guess the cars can take it as well. The gap for the lead has stabilized, let's say, at the front there, at about half a second. It fluctuates a little bit. Now Tomala on the back of Mendeles, who, well, has 0 pace here. We assume he's running a full fuel load, but like I said, running a full fuel load, you're not only slower at the end of the race, you're also slower at the beginning running more fuel. Yes, you'll gain a lot of time back by not taking tires, but you're not cutting out a pit stop. So that's the big difference here. We've seen drivers gain about 10 to 15 seconds, I think maximum. And, well, he's getting close to a point where he might not even gain a position after Karatska's pits.
Well, he's definitely much slower, and not sure if this is gonna to play out well for Matas Mendeles. Well, he's still second in the Pro Plus class. Now Speth is third, and it looks like he's also struggling here a bit on pace. Let's compare the pace of both of the drivers. So Speth lost 7 seconds on the fifth lap.
Yeah, because he's behind Vershitska, so something happened to him. But I think for Mendeles it was more about thinking, how can he fight up in front, and can he do anything against Karatskas in front, who he was super close to in qualifying. It was just a few hundreds separating them, but in the race now, he's well, he's gonna run another very, very lonely race, as Karatskas getting closer and closer now That gap under 0.3 of a second for the first time since we went green, pretty much. Kobosnitsa had a great getaway himself. And putting the car ahead under pressure, they both know they don't need to take any major risk here. They don't want to have contact. They've got a bit of traffic up in front of them. And Mendelis loses the position now to Tomola. And for Tomola, this is quite important as a direct competitor now ahead in Jibgashvili for second in the Pro-Ams. Is, however, about 10 seconds behind his class leader and the overall leader, surprisingly. A little bit wide from Karatskas, and that's going to be a bit of time lost there on the exit.
He's still on a very good lap. Looking at his dashboard, only 7/800ths of a second slower than his fastest lap time, if that's being compared to the fastest lap of the driver. So even with those small mistakes, Karatskas is now looking to be the fastest driver on the racetrack. Of course, he's using the slipstream. Look at how the slipstream beautifully works here on the Monza circuit, and he's going for a push, not for an overtake. And I think
it wasn't even a push. I think he's just saving up a bit of fuel. I think he's happy with where he is right now. They're both quick, and he can just use the slipstream to be quick together. Once they get into a fight, and if they get into a fight, they might start losing time to the cars behind. So Karatskas doesn't really need to do anything here. And maybe he'll just stay behind for the whole race, because it doesn't matter for him.
Well, at least up until the pit stops will take place here in this race. He definitely doesn't need to get involved himself in any battle. He doesn't need to take any risks. Pace of both of the leaders is quite good, though Jibgashvili is able to keep up with the drivers. The gap is stable for a couple of laps now, around 5 seconds. He's just a little bit slower than the two leaders, so these drivers need to be definitely smart and not get...
I think that's exactly why there's no move being made by Grantas, because he doesn't need to. He knows that if they get involved in a battle, that car behind might start catching up. It's running a similar pace, just a little bit slower. So really, they're both in a pretty good position. If they keep running like this, they'll just keep going away and away and away from the field behind. Mendelis under pressure from Javakshvili. That's the AM leader. Car coming out of the pits. Again, look at that, a little bit of fuel save. I don't think Grantas will be making a move anytime soon. Here comes Javakshvili, and Mendelis isn't even gonna fight this one. And down into turn 1, the AM leader up into P5 overall overtakes the third placed car in Pro. Now again,
well, actually,
overall,
second placed car in Pro Plus class.
Second placed car, yep, second placed car. For Mendelis, it doesn't matter here, but I think with his strategy, he's at risk of actually not finishing on the overall podium. It gives a bit of a push, but goes to the inside. I thought he was just going to stay behind. I thought that was the idea here. For some reason, Javakshvili was defending somebody off the road.
Looks like Kobosnitsa, but it is traffic.
No,
same livery as Kobosnitsa's car, but it's a lapped car.
That was the car coming out of the pit, so clearly still struggling with some issue. We'll see if Javakshvili gets through here. Shows his nose to the inside, but nothing changes. A little bit wide from Mendelis there. I think Javakshvili should be let through pretty much at this point for Mendelis, who's in real trouble here in terms of his pace.
Mendelis just shows that
really
Mendelis just shows that he's unhappy with Javakshvili, and I think what he's most unhappy with is that Javakishvili went defensive, compromising his line. That caused Mendelis to hit the rear end of Javakishvili, and I think that made Mendelis a little bit mad. So he wants to go together, but if the driver goes defensive, both drivers are being slowed down.
Mendelis going defensive as
I think
well.
that's character, you know. I think that's character. He's showing just, well, you're faster, but you are not faster when you are ahead of me, so stay behind and I will not let you through. Well, at least that's what I'm reading from the body language of the driver. He doesn't go defensive here.
I don't know if he really has an option to keep fighting here.
And he doesn't need to. Yep. Well, he needs to...
Actually, it's a very bad idea for him to keep fighting, because right now the car behind him is for position, as Speff has made his way through the field. And now that would be a straight fight for position. Obviously, questions about what strategy is Speff running. I think with Mendelis it's pretty clear what strategy he's running. But clearly that's not been paying dividends for him, at least for now. He's been losing a lot of time and keeps losing even more time to the leaders. And he's gonna have a very bad end to this race as well, with the tires dropping off. Kobosnidze has now turned up the pace, trying to get away from Karatskas behind, who can't really find any proper response here. Lap times now in the mid-46s, and it's been a very sharp drop from lap 8, about half a second almost taken off from the lap time. So clearly Kobosnidze had something in store. He's seen the opportunity and he knows how much things can change at a pit stop. So I think he's just trying to get away from Karatskas just that little bit, so he's a little bit calmer once he goes into the pits. But again, not a battle for position, and that's sometimes the unfortunate thing we have with these classes. What would be a very intense fight for the lead.
Karatskas having connection issues. Yep, that is Karatskas having connection issues, and he's off the racetrack. He's back. He's back. Yep. So I was willing to say how much time he has for that connection to get back, and will he be placed at the same position? Hopefully this is just again flying on the racetrack. Definitely Karatskas having some sort of connection issues, and I'm not sure now if he'll be able to fix those. Tomala on the racetrack, is he positioned? Well, he's third. Yep, I think he was running fourth, so yeah, he's up to third, and I think that's it. Karatskas not coming back. He managed to get back the first time he went flying. That's not happening now, so this makes the race completely different now.
Yep, we're seeing that he's even on the live timing, it shows that he is disconnected. Milashauskas as well, disconnected. So an issue for 2 cars here. It's not an issue that's going to continue, but now we've got the Pro Plus, a new Pro Plus leader in Mendelis,
sitting in fifth.
Running in 5th, and he's behind the top 3 in Pro-Am and behind the leader in Am. So in a very interesting spot. Speff behind would be battling for position. And He's closing in, but he's not closing in by much. So we'll see how that strategy plays out there. They were pretty similar. There was about a 2/10 difference between them in qualifying. And we'll see. Well, actually, that's quite a big gain. He's been gaining over a second on lap 10, half a second on lap 11. We'll see how long that continues, but maybe that's a good indication of different strategies. Normally, it's a pretty good indication that they're running different strategies, but we'll see what happens once they take to the pits, as there's no pit window, really, but in about 3 minutes' time, we should start to see cars coming in for their scheduled pit stops.
Well, Mendelis was a bit faster here on this lap, but I think Speth made a mistake here on the previous lap, though Matas Mendelis put in a very fast lap. Could he?
Mendelis didn't make a mistake, it looks like.
Speth made a mistake, or maybe Mendelis just went faster.
I mean, I think Mendelis didn't make a mistake.
Oh, okay.
Because looking at how big the time difference is, I mean, you go quicker by a second. That's a lot. It has to be you're making mistakes before you.
Can it be a strategy change? Can it suddenly?
If he had a second in the bank already, I don't know why he's not used it up until this point. Would be an interesting strategy, because to gain a second round this track, it's a huge amount. It's a massive amount of time. You'd think he was running in a wrong map. Maybe. It just very, very difficult. Very, very difficult to explain, understand.
I don't know. He was slow, so really let's assume he was slow for saving the tires to run up until the finish of this race. He was running second in the Pro Plus class. Now, as we don't have Karetskas here with us anymore in this race, I don't know. Maybe he went for a strategy change, just fought for himself. Well, maybe I will change the tires now as I'm the leader. Things change, and he just went a bit quicker. His qualifying lap time is 1:46.5, so he definitely has the pace here. He knows how to be quick around Monza, and his slow driving was definitely an indicator that he's saving tires, or he just found a better way to.
I mean, he's still running a second slower than the race leader, so it's still a big
gap. Yep,
it's still a big difference, but. Speth again running quicker, but just by 0.2 of a second. This is Rybatsky. He's second in the AMS, 9th overall, and he's got a Pro Plus car of Asp up in front of him. Again, not a battle for position. This is P3 in the AMS, and P4 Belavicius right there on your screen behind. 25 minutes will tick down in a moment's time, and we should start seeing the first pit stops come in. Most of them will be right at the halfway mark, maybe a little bit later, just so you have a quicker car towards the end of this race. We'll see what Mendelis can pull out. He's clearly stabilized that gap to Speth. Probably felt that the pressure was mounting. I think Speth has had... Oh no, the gap keeps fluctuating. Let's see what lap time he pulls out. And just a little bit slower than Mendelis. So it's definitely stabilized. I think Mendelis felt the pressure and knew he had to go quicker. What does that mean for his strategy here? That's a big question, and also a question of what's Speth is thinking of here. is he on a fuel-only stop?
Both guys had
at
a very
lap
similar
time.
pace in the qualifying session, so that's definitely strategy here.
Because they're running a very similar pace, so it could be that both of them are on the same strategy. We'll see shortly, probably. We'll see when they pit as well. Those who are not taking tires are can just go to the last 5 minutes of the race and put that mandatory pit stop in then. You can stop early and do a fake out of sorts. Depending on how smart your opponent is and how well he knows the pit stop deltas, you kind of have an opportunity to go in and maybe make your opponent think that you've taken tires. They don't know how much time you need to lose in a strategy like that. That is an option. But that very much hinges on your opponent not knowing how much fuel, how much time it takes to change tires versus not change tires in terms of the gap. We do see a few cars coming in already, but I think those are cars a little bit further down in the field. Jofert, that was a car running 12th, at least when he crossed the timing line.
It was a very short pit stop, so...
I'm guessing fuel only, yep, should be. As he comes out on track. Maybe wanted to make some space for himself if he felt that he could run quicker than the cars he was bunched up behind, if he was bunched up behind any. It's a good option to take the stop, get your stop out of the way, and keep on going in fresh
someone's in
air.
the wall.
I don't think they've touched the wall. I think they're just spun around. But not the best way to go fast. Fastest lap of the race. Kobos needs it once again, 46.578. As we should be approaching his pit stop soon. And he's already almost 12 seconds ahead of his teammate. But his teammate, under pressure almost from Tomala. That gap coming down, and it's under 1.5 seconds now. And this is Balavich's, this is for P3 in the AM class. He's caught up to Serales, and he has an opportunity to make a move, but goes a little bit wide and decides to go into the pits. He's clearly had the pace advantage up until this point. Can he now carry that after his pit stop? Let's see how long that pit stop is. Stops, and that should be tires. Yep, considering how long he's waiting, it should be a tire stop in his case.
Yep, definitely a regular pit stop that will be taken by Kobosnidze also, I assume, looking at his pace, and this is a very long pit stop. So 4 tire change, fuel added to the car, and off he goes. It's already 42 seconds in total as he crossed the pit entry line.
This looked like a longer pit stop than we were used to.
Yep, I was thinking about the same thing. He looked to be stationary for quite a long time, and they don't need the fuel tank to finish off this race, full fuel tank.
Well, they'll be starting with less, obviously, but you'll be calculating how much you can fuel in while changing tires, and that's, well, how much you will need to fuel in your pit stop. Maybe some miscalculation there. You spent a really, really long time, maybe some damage being repaired. If you remember, that car was in the wall on lap 2, I think. on the exit of the second Lesmo, so maybe that damage, he decided to fix it, but considering his pace and his opportunities to get forward, I don't know if that was the smart call here, as the AM leader into the pits now. No, not
second
the
place,
leader. Second place.
Yep.
He went into the pits, and I don't believe he's going to be stationary for that long. He's still in the pits though, in P15. And here's Tomala. Catching, well, he was catching Jibgashvili.
Yeah, but especially at
Lost
lap
a bit
15,
on
so
that
Jibgashvili made a mistake and lost 3 seconds on the racetrack. Then he, well, went a bit slower. And lap 17 is
I think here's a game of chicken who pits first, and I think actually they'll both go in at the same time.
And
You
Kobasnidze
can
also.
gain an advantage here. Oh, yep, race leader in as well. So Javakshvili in the AM car will take over the lead of the race. You can run longer and gain time that way because cars are coming out on a cold set of tires. They'll be going slower. You'll gain the track position, possibly. The question then is, how quickly can you get your tires up to temperature? But sometimes it might just be a little bit easier to defend than to attack. It could be an option for some drivers if they're pretty close. That could sometimes be the deciding factor for those positions there. Speff and Mendeles gap has stabilized at that 8-second mark.
Yep, running very similar pace here. What's happening with the connection? So again, now Kobasnidze having some connection issues, and that makes me wonder if it is personal problems or maybe something with the race server, because we have Kareckas and Milashauskas out of the race here, assuming 4 connection issues. Hopefully every car remaining on the racetrack will be able to stay here racing this afternoon. Kobasnidze, just a short glitch. Still driving.
Hopefully that's all it is for him, but we've seen a few cars.
Flying off the racetrack and not coming back. That's
side. I'm leader into the pits.
Oh, and Mendeles also into the pits.
So it doesn't mean that he's changing tires. We'll see what happens in the actual pit stop here. As Speff stays out.
He can stay on the same tires, just have different amounts of fuel, so he may... It was a very short pit stop, so just a splash and dash, and he's already in front of Javakishvili. There goes your answer. There comes your answer for the low pace that Mendeles had throughout this race. He is definitely on a saving strategy. Tire and fuel saving strategy. Well, you don't have to save fuel and you come back into the traffic. Run into the back end of Dez. And it's a lapped car. It was still a contact though. Mendeles was not expecting Dez to slow that much down. Well, I think Mendeles used to go through that first chicane a bit faster than the car did in front of him, but it was a contact. Mendeles definitely lost time here, and wonder what the stewards will think about it. Where is Jibgashvili? Well, this is a huge difference now. Jibgashvili was running right in front of Matas Mendeles before coming into the pit lane. Well, actually, Kobasnidze is now...
Jibgashvili was not running right in front.
Oh no, it was
It's actually
Javakishvili. And where did Javakishvili go? Yep,
it's actually
indeed.
a much bigger swing than I expected here.
12th. Javakishvili back on the racetrack in P12. Speth is pitting now. Let's see what his strategy looks like. Vershitskas takes the lead of the race by staying out on the racetrack. Kobosnidze will definitely overtake Matas Mendelis with no problems whatsoever. Another short stop, so Speth and Mendelis on similar...
Actually, a little bit longer of a stop. You saw Mendelis just stop and immediately go away. For Speth, it was a little bit longer, but we'll see where that gap actually fans out here.
Yep, Mendelis lost a bit of time.
Past some traffic. Oh yeah, he did. He was held up obviously at turn 1. So, but Speth hasn't brought that gap down much.
Well, by 1
it's gone
second.
down by about 1 or 2.
Yep.
2 seconds. Yep, but he was stationary for longer, that's for sure. He was stationary for about 2.
So maybe a bit of a damage fix. Can you fix some damage during those 1 or 2 additional seconds?
Not really. Well, I don't know. I have no clue, but
oh,
maybe.
Mendelis, Matas Mendelis just received a 5-second penalty for causing an accident.
Oh, already?
Yep, I am looking at the table of penalties. We have plenty of penalties here this afternoon, actually. Nikanen has 10-second penalty already. Who's the next car? Asp has also a 5-second penalty. Then Shalkauskas has 5-second penalty. Balavichus has 10-second penalty. So Balavichus has also a big penalty. Dautartas has a 20-second penalty for unsafe rejoin, and Popenga has 15 seconds penalty. So Mendel is definitely now battling for second position, and the gap for him is going to be very important now. How far ahead of Simon Speth will Matas Mendelis be able to finish off this race, because he has a 5-second penalty. Frey has also a 10-second penalty for a contact with Jibgashvili. Jibgashvili is running 8th now. So quite a lot of action took place after the pit stops, I assume. And
Tomola is ahead of Jibgashvili now.
Yep, and Tomola has a penalty. No, Balavichus has a penalty, excuse me. No, Tomola has no penalty.
Oh, and he's going side by side. They're trying to battle for, but this is for position, both cars in Pro-Am. But I don't think Tomola has a response. I'm guessing he didn't take tires. That's how he vaulted up the field here. Because he was definitely behind. He was running with Mendelis. Yeah, he was running with Mendelis, but even that case, well, Tomola coming back at Jibgashvili, though, has an opportunity to maybe do something round the outside, and goes around the outside. Brilliant move, really brave. A little bit of a tap to the back as he gets sideways in the middle of the turn, but gets back the position, so maybe he's got some strategy here that's making it work. Here we go into Parabolica, and this battle will resume. They've got Javakshvili behind them. That is an AM car, not in a battle with them for position. But here we go, back down into turn 1, and Tomola doesn't want to give this one away, but I really don't see an option here for him to try and hold him back for 20 whole minutes in this race, side by side down into turn 1. Tomola keeps hold of the position, but we'll see what happens here on the exit. Javakshvili has, well, the best view in the house to see this battle up in front of him. but I'm sure he doesn't want to be involved here.
Well,
more pressure, and again, Jibgashvili finds space on the inside. They're going to go in side by side into the chicane. Well, a bit of a cut of the track from Tomola. I don't know if he had the space to go there. And still side by side through the first Lesmo. Contact in the middle of the corner. And to the inside now goes Javakshvili, and he's going to get that position. This is horrible news for the Pro-Am battle of Jibgashvili. Great news for Tomola as he's gotten in front.
Javakishvili and Jibgashvili are teammates, actually, both driving for AOR Racing Team.
Yep, and they're going to do the switch right here, I think, because Jeff actually probably realized he shouldn't go into that battle.
Yeah, but Javakishvili is being chased down by Ojunas. I wonder if Ojunas has already made a pit stop, but he's right there with Javakishvili. I assume Ojunas will still have to enter the pit lane at some point in this race. Jibgashvili will have to redo this again, but, well, the position hold by Tomola, he cut the chicane, and he still kept fighting with Jibgashvili. It doesn't matter if you're unsatisfied with your rival or think that he's doing something wrong. Track limits is a rule that everyone is accountant to. So I'm not sure how that situation will be looked at by the stewards. The drivers can file protests at the end of the races, so Jibgashvili has the right to protest the move of Tomola, as he will try to catch up with him once more, because this is a battle for P2 in the Pro-Am class. Points are important in the championship standings, and well, Jibgashvili will try his best to finish ahead of Tomola, his main rival here at this race. Kobosnidze gaining on Matas Mendelis, but he's not gaining too fast here. I thought he will catch up with Mendelis in a very short time. He's now, what, 3 laps on a chase?
Yep. About 3 laps, but he's getting about a second a lap. Lap 21 wasn't great for him. I'm guessing traffic.
I think it was an outlap for Kobosnidze, maybe? No,
because he pitted earlier. So, no, it was just maybe some traffic or something, because he lost a very little amount of time. And here he comes. No battle, as expected here. There's no point in battling, and gets passed. So now it's back to a straight fight for Pro Plus honors, as Speth 7.3 behind.
We have Vershitskas in the lead of this race. He is a Pro-Am driver. He needs to make a pit stop. I wonder, that's definitely going to be a splash and dash for Vershitskas. He should still end up behind Jibgashvili and Tomola, meaning that Tomola and Jibgashvili battling for that P2. I didn't notice Vershitskas when I was speaking about the positions that the drivers were battling for, but that should still be correct, what I assumed, because Vershitskas...
It depends how much they battle. Depends how much these two battle it out for position here.
It's about 25 seconds now. I think it's 25 seconds. Yeah, it is. Or even more. Looking at the timetable, it changes so fast. So it's maybe even more than 25 seconds. So maybe Vershitskas has a chance here in this race. Well, not for the win in the Pro-Am class, but he might be in a battle for the second position here in the Pro-Am class.
I think something happened to Jibgashvili in his pit stop, because he's lost such an incredible amount of time, because he was clear ahead of Javakshvili, he was clear ahead of Tomola, and he was much closer behind Kobosnidze when they pitted, because he's lost so much time. He's about 20 seconds behind what would be the race leader. I don't know how that happened here. Something must have went wrong, because he was much further ahead of these guys. He was about in the position where somewhere between Anescu and Speth, but clearly dropped back, I think, about 10 seconds. Maybe a bit less, lost in the pit stop. So something went wrong there, clearly.
Yep, a view from behind of Tomala looking at Jibgashvili. Jibgashvili definitely a bit faster here on the racetrack. He managed to get back on the tail of Tomala.
Wide. He's touched the gravel. He's touched the gravel on the exit. He doesn't have an exit, and there's lap traffic, and I think that might have actually helped Tomala, as he didn't have to defend the inside as much, but definitely more under pressure now, and this battle resumes once again. We saw it before, and we saw how it ended with Tomala really not wanting to give that position up. And here we go down into the braking zone and still holds on.
A nice battle for what should be P2 in the Pro-M class. Might end up being a battle for third place here as we are approaching the end of the third round. Javakishvili this time holding a little bit of a distance at this battle. Just looking from further away. He doesn't want to take bigger risks. These guys battle it out with definitely shoulders spread out. As well, Jibgashvili still has plenty of time here to try and take that spot away from Tomala. Into turn one, a little bit of an outbreak by both of the drivers. Still looking at the gap between Mendelis and Speth, and actually Speth is able to gain a bit on Mendelis, and it's starting to be, well, win for Speth in the Pro Plus class by the looks of it, if he manages to keep up with that pace he's carrying now. Less than 6 seconds between Mendelis and Speth. I wonder if the drivers know about the penalties. Are they being informed in any way? I don't think so.
I don't think we've not really seen it, so I doubt the drivers have. And well, Speth is pushing anyway. The question is, has Mendelis backed off because he knows he's got a bit of a gap and there's, 11 minutes to go. He can afford to lose some of it, he thinks, but doesn't know about the penalty. Again, defensive move from Tomala. He keeps holding on. Oh, contact up in front there. And somebody being deleted off the track. As we go into Parabolica once again. Down into the braking zone. Defensive move from Tomala. Jibgashvili trying to find some more on the inside. Ooh. A little bit wide from Tomala, but Jibgashvili almost getting boxed in by the traffic there, who I think maybe didn't even see him coming through, as they still continue side by side, but not for position with traffic, as that Lexus looks good. It looks quick, and he's going to go around the outside now, as Tomala doesn't really know who to defend from here, but actually probably helped him a little bit, as he got pushed. He got pushed by the traffic, and Dennis went into the back of him, and that's going to give the position to Jibgashvili. And, well, we didn't want that battle. Well, it's not over just yet, but this time I think Javakishvili is going to want to help his teammate. He's going to give him a push to the back. I don't think he's going to give a push to Tomala, as Tomala on the outside, Jibgashvili on the inside, side by side into the chicane. Once again, a little bit of contact on the exit. To the inside goes Javakishvili. He's going to make it free wide. Not really, as he only takes one position, doesn't take the other, and that's position lost for Tomala. But really, it's all because of traffic, and that lapped car, well, really ruined this great battle.
Yeah, that's something that you don't want to see happening on the racetrack. And I thought Javakishvili is going for Jibgashvili's position, but now, well, Tomola is in the worst possible situation he can be at, having... Oh, and look, he's going off the racetrack. I think he's a little bit furious, but I would be furious too, because that lapped car, look, again, the drivers need to battle it, and that's not the situation. It doesn't... it cannot happen on the racetrack. You're a lapped car. You need to give space for the drivers battling for positions. And yep, look now, Javakishvili is not happy about it, pushing Dennis alongside down the straight, using the slipstream. It looks like, well, the Lexus has plenty of frontline speed, and as Tomola...
got plenty of grunt as Tomola's coming here to the inside, jumps all over that curb. And it's really a battle now for position as Javakishvili's gotten in front. And now Mendeles can use the slipstream off of that car. There's a little bit of a gap that maybe Jibgashvili can find. I think what's going to happen here is that Javakishvili is going to lift out of it, let his teammate go. Tomola goes to the inside, but I don't think he's going to let Tomola through. And
Dennis almost
there on the exit.
Dennis outbraking himself and almost running into the back of Tomola.
But now I think Tomola has been held back behind Javakishvili, and beautiful team play from them as he goes to the outside. In the second Lesmo, a little bit of contact on the exit, but just about survives. Tomola gets back through, but I don't think he's got the pace to catch back up, and I think Javakishvili is going to want to worry about that one. He's going to go to the outside into Ascari and can't do it.
As these drivers...
saw Tomola do that move.
Look at Ojunas. He's gaining. I think he still has a pit stop to complete as Vershitskas goes into the pit lane.
And this is a crucial pit stop. Now, where is he going to come out? These guys lost so much time, still side by side between these two. Is there any contact? No, still clean. Now, where is Vershitskas? He's already coming out of the pits. He's left the line. He's accelerating down into turn one, and he's jumped all of them. Now, the question is, how much pace will he have? I'm guessing not that much, considering that he's running with very worn tires, but beautiful strategic play from him there. He's got about 4 seconds to hold on. But as all of these guys were fighting, they were stuck in traffic, they were fighting each other, they kept losing time. And Vershitskas with a very smart play.
Oh, something again. Tomola of the racetrack, connection issues. What's happening here this afternoon?
With connection issues.
And a couple of cars. A couple of cars, I believe, or maybe no. Okay, it was one car. Yep, that's only Tomola. We have Shalkauskas also out of this race, so I'm not sure if that's something to do with the connection. Well, actually, internet went crazy today. I don't know if you read about it, but there's something happening with Cloudflare. I'm not sure if it can affect racing servers, if that has something in common, but we had issues worldwide with internet, with accessibility of pages. Maybe that is influencing somehow connections of the drivers at home. Yep, Tomola is out, so it was a really intense and beautiful battle. But yet another car out of the top 10 places is out of this race this afternoon. Kobosnitz is looking at the overall win of this race and for the win in the Pro-Am class, but the win in the Pro Plus class actually would go into the hands of Simon Speth now. I think Mendeles, without knowing about the penalty, just cruising towards the finish line, looking after his car, looking after his tires, and he's not aware that he's losing now to Simon Speth, the lead of this race. A bit of harsh, difficult to pass the penalties for the drivers during the race, but I'm not sure if that's definitely nice to have it this way. But in other words, in other hand, Mendeles had that contact. I think, as a driver, you should be aware that you might get a penalty. So you should think about it. Well, at least think about a safe gap after a collision that you had, which might get you a penalty. So, well, he still can. Well, he could change the pace if he was saving and not thinking about the penalty, even not knowing that he had a penalty.
Well, that's the question. Can he change the pace here?
Yep, maybe he can.
That's a
maybe
very good question. Can he do anything? Maybe that's just the pace that he has. And if it is, there's not really much you can do.
Yep, and this is the next battle.
Pressure, and I think this is gonna be a done deal. I can't really see Vershitska's holding on here. He's definitely running much slower. He's running about a second a lap slower. Really, he needs to let this car go and hold. Well, actually, he doesn't have any pressure anymore from behind because Tomola's gone, so he's going to go on full attack. He's going to try and stay to the inside, then going to be on the outside. Is he going to have the traction? The Porsche has great traction out of that chicane and into Curva Grande. He's going to take it flat out. He gets back in front. Now he's going to try and defend that inside line into the second chicane. They come, and can Chibgashvili hold on the outside here? I think Vershitskas is going to show him the door and holds on just about. And I think it's going to be just, well, is it going to be one to go? Depends where the leader is when he crosses the line. I think we're going to have one more lap, and Vershitskas doesn't like that, I'm sure. But that's just the way it is. He doesn't have another Pro-Am car for a while behind, so he can really go hard and battle here side by side now in under the old banking and down into Ascari. Here we go, still side by side, and I think Javakshvili's just about got that position. He had a great run out of the second Lesmo. It's all going to be about the exit from Ascari here. Maybe out of Parabolica as well. Can Vershitskas find something in that slipstream? It's going to be one more, that's for sure. As we go into the Parabolica.
Yep, that's 2 to go.
Just dropping back, doesn't have an opportunity here. Yep, 2 to go.
Yep,
and Mendelis still staying in second, but still losing time. And that pace has really dropped off for both of them, actually. 49.2 and a 48.9 from P2 and P3. No pressure from behind, and that's for sure. But for Speff, there's pressure behind for Mendelis, and I think he doesn't really know it, how much pressure from behind he has, because he's 1.2 underwater for now.
Well, he's actually the car that needs to gain now. He's being chased down, but he's actually gaining.
Needs to not make a mistake. Speff needs to avoid making a mistake, avoid going too hard. That's another thing you can do. If he doesn't know that the car ahead has a penalty, he can be trying way too hard to push and might make a mistake because he thinks it's all or nothing. He's got no pressure from behind. So really, it goes both ways. But right now, it's looking very, very good for Simon Speff. Just one more to go, as they'll cross the line this time round. Vershitskas has dropped off, and that's to be expected with his state of tires. He's probably going to be overtaken by Javakishvili behind as well, but that's an AM car, so not for position, doesn't matter. And into the final lap. Leader takes the white flag. Vershitskas goes to the inside. Maybe trying to break the draft here. He can try and stay in front, but unless he thinks Javakishvili will be upgraded to a Pro-Am car, then probably makes sense to try to stop him, because there's no other AM car in the top 10, not even, well, close, but not that close, as a Kiev in 11th. Here goes Javakishvili to the outside. I don't know if Vershitskas will be able to do much here. Tries to outbrake him, and a little bit deep from Javakishvili, gets a push from the rear, but that looks like game over there. And yep, second place in the AMS is Azikev, down in 11th spot overall. And third in the AMS is Rybatsky in 13th overall, sorry. So here we go, final lap of the race. Speff still close enough to Mendeles. He's got a bit of traffic in front. That's the scary thing here. He doesn't want to run into it. As Kobosnidze now approaching the final turn. And well, he's going to take a dominant victory. His closest rival flew off the track and disconnected. Well, disconnected, then flew off the track, I guess. Connection issues for Karatskas, but it's been a dominant run. And Kobosnidze, it's a lights to flag victory pretty much. Takes the win, starting from pole by over.
Oh, Speth out of fuel.
He's out of fuel and he's lost the race. He's going to lose the race, and I don't think he's even going to make it back. Mendeles is going to take it.
It was a slowdown. Was it a slowdown?
Oh, he cut the track. Maybe.
He's going slow and dropping positions.
He's still running super slow. I'm not sure what... well, I guess these positions don't matter much because he's lost the lead.
Oh,
That's the big thing here. He's lost the win. On the final lap, I said he has to not make a mistake. He was probably trying to push very hard. He made that mistake. Oh, car off?
Yep, good.
Oh, no, that's after the flag. That's fine. That's after.
Yes.
As everybody takes the checkered flag, we'll see what those final results are in just a second. We just have to wait for everybody to take the checkered to see what our official results are here. But Mendeles probably didn't even know it, that he was in very, very big trouble. Speff, well, that final lap, he was close enough. He just needed to not make a mistake, to not have something happen. And something happened. He lost so much. He lost that race. He lost the win in the Pro Plus class on that last lap. So incredible scenes here at Monza. But Kobosnidze, what a drive from him. We didn't see him much after the disconnect from Karatskas, but he's been absolutely flawless. 13 seconds at the top, fastest lap of the race, pole position, and he's essentially led every lap except for those laps where he had already pitted. So brilliant, brilliant race from him. As we probably have our final results. Kobosnidze at the top of the standings and wins in Pro-Am and overall. Mendeles takes the win in Pro Plus ahead of Jibugashvili and Speff, who lost it on that last lap. Javakishvili wins in Am ahead of Vershitskas, P3 in Pro-Am. Enescu, third in Pro Plus. Where did he come from? Then comes Jofert in Pro-Am. Asp, Nikanen Azikev, second in Am. Then is Dotartas, Rybatsky, third in Am, ahead of Serelis and Balavicius. Those Ams are quite close together. So that's it from us tonight. And in exactly 2 weeks' time, we are back to the Ringfreaks GT3 Premium Series, and it will be the Nürburgring GP circuit. But don't go away too much from World Sim Series action, as on the 23rd of November, so this Sunday evening, we'll be having the first ever race at the Lithuanian Motorsport Park. And on the 29th of November, the Saturday, we'll be having the Ringfreaks 24 hours of the Nürburgring. So a lot of World Sim Series action coming to you soon. But for today, it's good night.